Never been.
It is a scary good time.
Yes, it is. And there's some spooky new fun at this year's Halloween Horror Nights at Universal. David Martin got to check it out firsthand. Actually, the two of you were gallivanting around together.
We had a little tour area, and he made me go first all the time, and he held onto the back of my shirt the whole time.
I held onto your belt buckle loops.
It's true.
That explains why they're all ripped off.
You have no pants anymore.
No, there's another explanation for that. But
so I can't believe you've never been.
I've never been.
I took a newbie this year as my +1, and he had a great time.
Yeah.
Bottom line is, this is the longest ever Halloween Horror Nights at Universal. 34 nights. It started last Friday.
Right.
Okay.
And it's number 27. They're downplaying that number because it's not a very special number, 27. But 27 years. Think about how many houses.
That's pretty amazing.
It is. Now, if you haven't been, it's wonderful. There are basically 3 major areas of entertainment. You've got 2 shows, right? You have 5 scare zones and 9 haunted houses. That's how they break it down. And those scare zones get you in between the houses, and the shows are sort of auxiliary entertainment, right? Now, Bob, you and I walked through all 9 houses on last Friday night, and 5 of them are themed to some of your favorite movies or TV shows in the horror genre, and then there are 4 original content haunted houses. Do I have that right?
You're absolutely right, and I did mention to some of the creators out there, the 5 that are themed to like shows that you know, they're wonderful. They're really amazing, but the creators are really sort of limited by whatever the source material is.
Right.
With the original content, they can come up with whatever they want, and some of those houses are really gothic and creepy, like the Scarecrow house is just insane.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Now, if you're wondering what shows and movies they actually themed after, we've got an expert here to tell us right now.
Let me go ahead and start with Ash vs. Evil Dead, which is like a huge fan favorite. It's a great TV show, and so we are basing a house off Season 1 and Season 2. It takes us through all the cool Evil Dead Deadites, along with Ash Williams himself, Bruce Campbell, of course, represented in this maze. It's going to be awesome. Move over to the Horrors of Blumhouse. This is really cool because we have the opportunity to have 3 different franchises all crammed into one experience. Sinister, Insidious, Purge, all in the house. That leaves us with a lot of creatures coming at you. We hop over to Saw. Now, Saw has a movie coming out in late October. And the cool thing about we had the opportunity to our final scene, you get to walk through a trap that is in that movie. So you're basically walking through a film trailer. It's a lot of fun. Then we, of course, have The Shining. The Shining is a classic film, and I hope that a lot of people who saw that movie when they were younger bring their kids, and so they experience it as a family. And then, of course, we have our Uber Maze, which is American Horror Story, which covers, of course, 3 different seasons. We have Asylum, we have Coven, and Roanoke, all represented in all the scariest characters in those.
The Shining is so good.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was your favorite?
Of all the houses out there?
Let's go with the 5 themed.
5 themed? The Shining.
Mine too.
Yeah. Because it's a little wider. And it's not the jump out if you feel like you're in the hotel.
Yeah.
And some of the effects are incredible.
For me, I wanted to take pictures in The Shining all night long. It felt like a museum to me, like we were walking through the set of the movie. So it was such a dream come true.
I'm guessing if you have a heart condition, this is probably not.
Yeah, probably not
A good.
They will jump out and scare you.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And if you're impatient, I got an option for you, Bob. You know what that is. You can buy an express pass.
You can get an express pass, but if you don't want to fork over the money for the express pass, there are ways to hit certain houses at certain times, and you can get to the back ones first, and then those lines aren't so bad early on, and then you hit the front ones later on in the evening, and that's
strategy.
It's a strategy.
You gotta have strategy.
Final recommendation: buy an RIP tour. That's what we took. It's the best way to do it. You get it all done in one night, and you get behind-the-scenes stories.
They tell you stuff you'd miss.
Yeah.
So you're gonna do the scare zones. We're gonna talk about the scare zones coming up
next in the 9 o'clock hour.
9 o'clock hour. Okay, because I love the scare zones.
Can't wait for that.
All right, David, thank you. Hey, still to come. It is the yearly Scream Fest at Universal Studios. Halloween Horror Nights is in full swing at Universal.
Oh, and who better to talk about it than these two? David Martin got to do that behind-the-scenes look out there. And, of course, Bob's a regular.
I was there,
I know, you're a regular. You guys went together.
Hot as coattails I was.
That was the first time I went through the entire property. All 9 houses, all 5 scare zones, and the shows. Now, this show, I should mention, is Bill and Ted's Farewell Tour. If you like Bill and Ted's Halloween thing, it's gone after this year.
After this year. I got a little tear. I'm not going to lie to you. They have a little retrospective at the end. A little tear. They're funny.
Wow.
Right.
It's good.
But let me just remind people that there are 9 haunted houses. 5 of them are themed after movies and TV shows like The Shining, thank goodness, American Horror Story, Saw, Ash vs. Evil Dead. But then there are other homes they've done up with their own content, their own storylines. The geniuses at Universal have made their own haunted houses. So let's listen to what they've done with those.
So we have dead waters here. It is a swamp. It is nasty. We have all these zombies coming out from this riverboat that we're in currently right here. This riverboat has so much detail, and you make your way through it. You go through the swamp. Then you go to the Voodoo Queen's shack. Inside there's the apothecary. This is where the swamp witch and her turn people into living voodoo dolls. Move over to the Fallen, which is another original house. Now the Fallen, the overall of this event is the Festival of the Deadliest. This gives us an opportunity to have that in the house. This festival has summoned these evil creatures from this hellmouth that are going to pull us into the netherworld, and they're very, very gross, and we're really pushing the limits of makeup design and mask design in that house. Personal favorite's called Hive. It takes place in the 80s, so it kind of has that cool synth 80s VHS tape feel to it. And these creatures, if you think vampires, take everything that's sexy and cool about vampires and just throw it out. These are nasty, bestial, Nosferatu type characters. Half our cast has agreed to shave their heads, so they're bald. They have prosthetic ears, prosthetic noses, fangs, UV contacts, long fangs and their nails, and they're burrowing through the walls to get at you. And then Scarecrow the Reaping, which has all these scarecrows coming at you in this abandoned farmhouse. Average height of about 6'3" of these guys. They're all skinny. They're all just wrapped in roots and bones and fur. And that house takes place in like Nebraska, kind of that Dust Bowl era, so everything's very dry and dusty, and these roots are pulling the farmhouse and us into the dirt.
Know that this is a full sensory experience.
Yes.
You don't get touched by the monsters and the ghouls and the mayhem, but you smell things, you see things, you hear things. I think some of the best jump scares in all the houses have to do with sound.
Oh, really? Like you don't know what that sound is?
They'll add it to someone jumping out
That's
at you.
right. And without giving too much away about how they do it, they have it choreographed that when they jump out at you, the sound comes at the same time. And so it feels like a movie.
They had one great scare. You're walking down the hallway, and you can see in the corner them in this long hallway. But it was really a mirror of them hiding back here. So you go, I see you, and then they jump out this way. And, like, oh!
And you do go, you walk through these homes one after another, like a train, slowly. And you're thinking, they're never going to scare me because I can see it come out in front of me. Everybody gets scared at some point in the house.
You can go through the house multiple times and see different things and have different scares, because maybe you'll miss a jump the first time through it.
You mentioned the scare zones that are in between the houses. Those are the outdoor areas where people jump out at you with chainsaws.
This sounds so fun.
It is good.
It's equally scary.
It can be,
So my recommendation, get a liquid fear booze drink.
Or liquid
Takes
courage.
the edge off of
liquid
it.
fear, liquid courage.
Are all the other rides and everything open while all
Some
this
of
is
them.
going on? So you can like, okay, I need a little break from all the scare. I'm going to go ride something.
And there's like no lines on them. No one's riding them.
On the rides.
There's like 5 minutes.
But that's good.
Because they're all in line for the haunted houses.
I will say this about the scare zone. My favorite was Trick or Treat. It's a great movie, by the way, which is a lot of people haven't heard of it, but it's beautiful. They do the part with the trees and all the jack-o'-lanterns up there. It feels like you're in the movie. They did such a great job with that scare zone.
And to your point, if you want to skip the lines, they are long, get yourself an express pass, or if you can upgrade, if you can afford it, do the RIP tour. You skip all the lines. You get a private tour leader.
Oh, wow.
Or if you're an annual pass holder, you can get in early. You can get in like an hour early and do a few houses before the rest of the crowds come in.
And what did you buy for the year? What's it called?
I got the ultimate frequent fear, so I can go any night I want. All of them. Because I'm working in the mornings now, which is good.
That's right, you are.
I've always been jealous. I could never go because I was always working at night.
Let's do it again.
It was part of the reason reason I decided to come to the mornings.
Red
He's
rum.
obsessed.
Red rum. All right, David, that was awesome. You going again?
Thanks for joining me. Let's do it this year. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I don't have that pass that you have.
We do it every year, my
I have a
friend.
job.
All right, still don't have a job.